Hey, are you a new or maybe a seasoned AAU basketball coach and looking to take your team to the next height? You gotta start scrimmaging other local AAU basketball teams to do that. And that's what I'm gonna talk about today. I'm gonna talk about 3 different reasons why you want to scrimmage local travel basketball teams. So first is you're going to gain competitive experience without the pressure. Now, for those of you guys that have been out there on that court and you've coached a travel basketball game, you know that like that other coach is going to throw something crazy at you, and you're just, it's gonna drive your kids nuts. It's going to drive you nuts. Next thing you know, you're down by 15 points and you can't really start over. Well, doing a scrimmage, guess what? There's no more pressure. You can always reset, consolidate, take, as much time as you need, figure out a way to counter whatever it is that other coach is throwing at you, and you don't have to worry about it because it's not a game. It's not a win or lose situation. So that is probably the main reason, is just not having that additional pressure that you're going to have to worry about, but you're getting the real game scenarios, and that's the key. During these scrimmages, you're going to be able to test out those new basketball plays. We've all done it. We've taught a new basketball play or some defensive strategy that we've been working on for weeks in practice, but we're really only pushing it up against, the other kids on our team that already know it. And so we're not able to actually see it in action against a team that doesn't know it. So, you want to use these scrimmages to test out those new plays so that you don't go to a real tournament and find out that thing didn't work, or your team wasn't expecting it to be as difficult to implement. These scrimmages, especially for the new teams, it'll really help your players work together as a team and build that chemistry in a low pressure environment. So that when they get into those high pressure situations in a real tournament where, every move counts, they can figure out how it's going to feel without having to, lose an entire game over it. You can also use these scrimmages to evaluate how well you taught something. Maybe you didn't teach it well enough, and maybe you tried in a scrimmage and it doesn't work, and you decide, I'm going to scratch that. I'm not going to use that the rest of the night, or I'm not going to use that for the next tournament coming up. You would much rather find out that something didn't work in a scrimmage versus trying it out in a real game and in suffering the consequences. So the next one is exposure to different playing styles. I don't know how many tournaments, probably every single game, every single tournament that I've coached, I come up against a different playing style every single time. Put in the comments below if you feel me on this, right? Like, every team does something different. They have different playing styles. And it's so important for you as a coach to go up against those different coaching and playing styles. And it's so important for your players to also be exposed to those different playing styles. The repetition that your players get by going up against different, teams with different concepts, of operation is so important. It's the experience that counts in this, and scrimmages are an easy way, to get a lot of game time scenarios, a lot of time on the court against those other teams. So it'll help them adapt to the different diverse game situations, or different types of skills and abilities that these other teams have. Some of the examples might be facing a team that just likes to run a fast-paced offense, or maybe a team that has like a super tight zone defense, and your offense just is having a tough time struggling to figure that out. You can take that, what you learn or what you pick up from how, how they played that, you might be able to replicate it and also teach your players. But you can teach your players how to overcome that during your next practice, or maybe you're going to face that team in a tournament, and you'll at least know, and it'll improve your team's ability to adapt to those types of playing styles. The next one is that, and I like this one, scrimmages can essentially replace an actual tournament, especially if you have, several teams that can come in and participate. And, these should be, you see these all the time in local areas. I know I participated in a bunch. They host them every year. I mean, you have to Google them, or you have to, network with other coaches, but there are these miniature tournaments that teams will put on, where it'll be a fundraiser for them, and they'll invite 10 teams, and it'll be an entire day, maybe 2 days. And the cost will be like half of what a real tournament would cost, but you're getting so many more games. You're getting like 4 or 5 games. You're getting an opportunity to get in there and get on the court more. You don't have to worry about, bracket play and being kicked out of the, getting kicked out of the tournament because, you didn't move, you didn't get enough wins. So these are great opportunities. Hell, you could even set these up in your own local area if you have a gym and a facility, and you can get enough, refs and everything. If you can set the budget up right, you can do these. So, and I talk a lot about, budgeting on this channel with basketball seasons and how they're expensive to get there. I would use these smaller, or these big scrimmages, but smaller tournaments, as a way to get more playing time for my players, versus paying for those expensive tournaments. So if you can find these, those are great opportunities to get your kids out there on the court. So, like I said in this video, there's a lot of benefits to scrimmaging. I encourage every AAU team, coach out there to network with their group and find teams or coaches that are willing to bring their teams up to you. Find teams that have gymnasiums that you can take advantage of their courts. Go up there and scrimmage them. I do have a free checklist that I'll post down in the bio section that you can, it's a free download. It's just basically a checklist for scrimmaging. I put a lot of good points on there, things to think about before you do it. Because, if you're going to spend the time and energy to scrimmage, you want to make sure you have all the essentials, all the logistics, and you want to make sure you do a lot of communication with the other coach and come up with a good game plan on what you need, good strategy, so that you're practicing concepts that you've developed with your team, and you use those valuable hours in a scrimmage where you can actually stop and pause play and do things. But that will be in that free download to checklist. Check it out. I'll also leave a link to my website that has a little bit more details as well. So thank you.